Hello everyone, I am Maria Lolita F. Morga, or just call me Ma'am Morga, and I will be discussing the module Personal Development for this week. And our lesson is entitled Knowing and Understanding Oneself. How well do you know yourself? Can you recall how you were during your younger years? Can you describe yourself as a student, as an athlete, friend, cousins, child, etc.? Imagine yourself looking into the mirror. Now, what do you see? Do you see your actual self or the ideal self? Your ideal self is the self that you aspire to be. It is the one that you hope will possess characteristics similar to that of a mentor or some other worthy figure. Your actual self, however, is the one that you actually see. It is the self that has characteristics that you were nurtured or some cases born to have. The actual self and ideal self are two broad categories of self-concept. What is self-concept anyway? Self-concept refers to your awareness of yourself. It is the construct that negotiates these two selves. In other words, it connotes first the identifications of the ideal self as separated from others. And second, it compasses all the behaviors evaluated in the actual self that you engage in to reach the ideal self. Your actual self is the one that you actually see. It is the self that has characteristics that you were nurtured or, in some cases, born to have. It is built on self-knowledge. Self-knowledge is derived from the social interactions that provide insights into how others react to you. The actual self is who we actually are. It is how we think, how we feel, look, and act. The actual self can be seen others, but because we have no way of truly knowing how others view us, the actual self is our self-image. Your ideal self is the self that you aspire to be. It is the one that you hope will possess characteristics. The ideal self could include components of what our parents have taught us. The ideal self, on the other hand, is how we want to be. It is an idealized image that we have developed over time, based on what we have learned and experienced. The ideal self could include components of what our parents have taught us, what we admire in others, what our society promotes, and what we think is in our best interest. Recognizing one's inner strengths and weaknesses gives a person the capability to empower oneself. This is called self-awareness or self-empowerment. It is one recognizes his or her traits as something well important to one's ability to place importance on continuous learning to improve oneself. Now, let us discuss the self-concept and its aspects. There are many aspects of yourself that can make up who you are and you believe to yourself to be. Among them are physical self. Are you tall? Are you fat? Are you pretty? Who you are physically is important to many people. For example, you are an active person. You see to it that you are physically fit, but you are the type who is always on the go. Being strong and healthy is a big part of on how you define yourself. There are some, though physical self is different. Some may be overweight and some get tired easily. The physical self is still part of your self-concept. But in an opposite manner, it is for you, your physical self is out of shape and overweight. Second, we have the social self. Are you shy? Are you confident? Are you sociable? Say you are the type who does not have so many friends, but a few who are very close to you. You like spending time with them and that every day you realize that you will still discover new things about them. This is part of your social self. That is how you as a person relate to others. Third, the competent self. Are you good in sports? Can you swim? Can you draw? Competence is the ability of a person to provide for your basic needs. For example, your best friend is a hard worker and able to achieve many things in school. She feels like she is competent, which is a big part of her self-concept. You too are competent, but in a different way. Your pride is on your baking. You do not really get awards or recognitions in school, but you bake like a professional, and you're still competent because your family and friends appreciates the cupcakes and other pastries that you made for them. Again, this is part of your self-concept, even though it is different from your best friend's competent self. And lastly, we have the inner self. Are you happy? Can you make decisions easily? Are you pessimistic or optimistic? Also sometimes called the psychological self. It is made up of the feelings and thoughts that a person has deep inside them. For example, you worry about the future and what it will bring. You like to ponder deep thoughts and read about philosophers that try to get the meaning of life. Your best friend, on the other hand, has no time for philosophy and the meaning of life. She is too busy working for her achievements. But she does have an inner self too. Hers is based around her religious faith and love of her family. She sees herself as someone who is faithful and loving to God and her family. As you can see, a person's self-concept is made up of many aspects of themselves, and different people can have very different self-concepts. Therefore, knowing yourself an important steps to achieve happiness and peace. To learn your true self, identify the qualities that makes you unique. You get to appreciate the time to look more closely into self. Have the opportunity to understand yourself by identifying your strengths and limitations and eventually share them to others. This allows us to understand and deal with other people in the long run. Alignment is important. If the way that I am, the actual self, is aligned with the way I want to be, the ideal self, then I will feel a sense of mental well-being or peace of mind. Incongruence or lack of alignment will result in mental distress or anxiety. The greater the level of incongruence between the ideal self and the real self, the greater the level of resulting distress. Now, are you ready to answer your activities in your module? Can you say now, you know yourself well? Okay, so that's it for our lessons for this week. And thank you, class, for listening and watching to this module of personal development. And let me end with this quote. What I am looking for is not out there, it is in me, by Helen Kettler. Once again, I am Ma'am Morga, and see you soon for upcoming modules.